As we approach the middle part of October, we're seeing a weather pattern that was probably really setting up for the heart of the harvest season. And you know what? It's got two main characteristics. It's not showing me a lot of cold weather, and it's not showing me a lot of rain. It looks like a mild and dry pattern setting up for the northern plains, upper Midwest in general. Now, there are some subtleties and some subtle differences here and there, but mostly October, at least the first half, is looking warm and dry. That's certainly what's ongoing this week. Jet stream is uncharacteristically far north. That's keeping the really cold temperatures locked up in the high Arctic for the time being. As we go through this week, though, there'll be a little bit of troughiness digging out in the northeastern Maritimes of Canada and up here in the Gulf of Alaska. The middle of the continent will remain the jet stream fairly far north. That'll keep the weather fairly mild for the most part, coast to coast. As we go along, though, we'll start to see this troughiness increase in the Great Lakes and in the Northeast, and this will gradually drag down slightly cooler weather. And as we approach the weekend, we'll continue to see that. But this is not the really cold stuff. Now, what do I mean by cold? Cold is sub-freezing highs. Cool, that's just cool jacket weather. Highs might be in the 40s or the 50s or maybe even near 60 in some cases. And the warm stuff, this time of year, that's 70s, maybe around 80, and the hot stuff is maybe approaching 90 degrees. The hot stuff is going to stay down south this week. Cooler weather will be making inroads into the Great Lakes and some parts of the eastern Corn Belt, but I don't really see any seriously cold weather setting up in the United States, maybe around the north side of Lake Superior up through Hudson Bay as we get toward the middle of the month. That's hardly unusual in this region of the continent in this time of the year. The pattern doesn't look like it's changing very much, so it likely will remain generally pretty mild, and this little modest intrusion of cool weather is nothing below seasonal averages. As far as precipitation goes, because of the temperature pattern setting up, not seeing a lot of this as snow. A lot of this rain you're seeing in the northeastern part of the continent is the remnants of Hurricane Ian, which will continue to be causing significant rain, especially up here in the Maritimes. But a lot of the middle part of the country is going to be dry. Monsoonal rains, which are starting to show that time of the year where they're going to start getting cut off, will continue to provide a few stray thunder showers out of old Mexico into New Mexico. Southern California continues to look dry, but we're starting to see some rain coming down the west coast. The second week, it looks like we'll actually pull some of that moisture into the western United States, but much of the central and eastern part of the country will continue to be dry, maybe no precipitation at all, or any precipitation that does fall would likely be light and inconsequential.